What's going on, everybody? I'm Captain Blue Shell, and this is my Lost Ark story. So basically, I want to go ahead and get the word out on how people have come to know Lost Ark. How did they hear about it? How did they fall in love with the game? What do they think of the game so far? And what direction they think that the game is going to be going into? Whether it was social media, from a streamer, your beginning thoughts, and what kind of made you say, yes, I'm going to try this out, or I'm going to buy a Founders Pack, whatever the case might have been. How did you get in to Lost Ark? And this is my story as well. And we'll go ahead and start with Twitch. I've been on there to watch streamers and also content create a little bit myself, and I was looking just kind of through MMOs, and basically it recommended me a channel called Stoops, and I'm like, okay, this guy seems cool. He's pretty mellow, pretty down to earth, he seems like a cool guy. And so I was watching him, and he was playing a game called Lost Ark. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. A Diablo vibe, and, I was wondering how many hours the game had with it, how many hours until you completed the game and that you were done, it was one and done, right? And researching it, I looked into it, and it turns out that it was an MMO. And I said to myself, this is an MMO? It was kind of like alien to me. It was very, very strange. And people are like, yeah, it's an MMORPG. And I'm like, there's no way, and one thing led to another. It's the classic white rabbit, following it into the tunnel, and, down the rabbit hole you go, right? And so I understood that you could actually, make your own private island, and then the sailing, and so much to be looking forward to. Even with the end game, it was like, what was described to me was like the end game was the starting end of the game, and I'm like, what? I'm not used to this, with Warcraft, I'm used to, having to do Torghast, right? It's like, okay, Torghast again, right? Here we go. And it's nice because from the game, as I've learned, it's a game that you can do what you want to do. If you want to go ahead and practice sailing and get your sailing level up, you can do that. If you want to do, the Abyss dungeons, raids, storyline, wherever the crap it is that you want to do or get good at, even with PvP. And I'm not a big PvP fan, but even the PvP to me looked absolutely amazing. It was very unique. And so a few months ago, it was a couple months before it came out in the West, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and check it out. Got into the Russian region, and I went ahead, started it up, and I fell in love with the story right at the beginning. And usually for games, for me, I have to give it a little while. I got to check and see. I got to, check and make sure this is going to be a good investment of time. But right off the bat, I absolutely fell in love with it. It was the beautiful world, the aspect. It was like art, but the story kept me, going on. Like, it kept me wanting to play every single day and to keep, leveling up and trying out different classes too. I'm like, what does this one do? What is this special ability? And it was so eye-opening, but at the same time, it kind of gave me that sense of freedom. Like I said, from Warcraft and, playing with people that I did and streamed with on Warcraft, they were going to be playing Lost Ark as it came out to the West too. I'm like, that's fantastic. I'll have people to actually play with. And, not to be selfish, but it was like, I was actually proud of myself for making content before a game came out to the West. Because a lot of my friends, they were like, what is this game that you're playing? What are you making content about? And I'm like, you gotta, you have to check it out. You have to check and see. And, understandably, they said, I'm not going to go through all of this just to check out a game in a, Russian region. And I'm like, that's fine. It's coming out to the West. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. We can play. We'll have a fantastic time. Some people from Warcraft, some people from Final Fantasy to try it out. Beautiful mixture. And it's just amazing to share the game with everybody. And, with that being said, as it came out to the West, for me personally, and in all honesty, it was kind of bittersweet, only because it was kind of like the game to me was like I don't mean to be sentimental, but it's like finding, a beautiful pearl. It's yours to kind of admire. You can look at it anytime you want. And it's kind of like, it's yours. Like, no, not everybody knows about it. And it's kind of like knowing, an inside secret or finding a secret room, It's like only kind of about it. And it's cool because, it's a secret and you're in on it. But it's nice that everybody is open to play it and try it out. And the content is just content. It's kind of weird to kind of be buried in Lost Ark content because I was, discoverability was a lot easier for me. But, as streamers, content creators who have the following base, obviously they go up the ladder. So it's to be expected, but I'm hoping that everybody enjoys it. I'm hoping that everybody is having a blast. And I continue to fall in love with it. As we look with the classes coming out in the West, which we have a few more of them. I think they said like every 2 or 3 months they'll be releasing a new class to, keep people's attention. So it makes sense. And I hope that you guys, like I said, just have fun with it. If you haven't tried it out yet, definitely try it out. Start it up. See what you think. It's free. And when they say free to play, they really do mean free to play. And that was the thing that got me going. I'm like, this is free, like no subscription? Like what is going on? How can they sustain this? But I was happy, in the end, and I still am. I'm very happy. I hope you guys are too. And remember, I can't stress this enough, just play what you love. If you love Lost Ark, you've fallen in love with it, continue to play it. Life is very short. We really don't have that long of time on this planet, and just make the time count, and just continue to love each other, be good to each other, and enjoy games together, because we're gamers united together for it. So but I want to know you guys' stories too. If you do play Lost Ark, hashtag my Lost Ark Story, and let me know, how did you hear about it? How did you get into it? What do you think of it? What do you think about what's coming out? And get the hashtag. Let's get it going and keep rocking on. So it's Captain Blue Shell. I'll see you in that next beautiful Lost Ark adventure. I'm out.